Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of All Things Universal Orlando. Today we're going to be looking at the top 5 shows on the studios side. Hey, thanks for tuning in again, everybody. Before I get started, I want to encourage you and ask you to like and subscribe, and also remember, hit the bell notification so you can be made aware every time we post a new video. This countdown isn't probably going to take real long. I expect this will be one of the shorter videos that I've put together. We're going to look at the top 5 shows available at Universal Studios side of Universal Orlando Resort. There are a lot of shows, and they're all pretty good. So before we get to that, like I said, want to ask you to like and subscribe, hit the bell notifications. But let's get right to it.
Number 5.
Number 5 is The Beat Builders. This is one of my favorite shows, and depending on the time of year or depending on the mood I'm in, this could have been much higher in the countdown. It's just that the way things are right now, it comes in at number 5. What it is a basically simple show where you have 4 construction workers who show up, climb the scaffolding usually around Louis Pizza there, and they use all of their tools and buckets and things to turn into a percussion show. And it's excellent. Frankly, it's amazing. It's fun. It's not really interactive, although they do encourage you to be a part of it and they interact with the crowd. You don't really get to do anything. But what I'm getting at is that they just have a way of making it exciting, and there's usually a large crowd. If you go during a peak time, try to get there early because you'll be too far back to see it. It runs year round, and like I said, it's always good. I don't know if I would say that it's not to be missed, but it's certainly, if you're in that area, you're gonna want to see it. If you happen to walk by when they've started, stick around and get a sample, and then decide at that point whether you want to come back and see the whole show. But I certainly encourage you to do it, and that's why Beat Builders is the number 5 show at Universal Studios.
Number 4.
Tale of the Three Brothers. Now, there are a couple of shows in the Diagon Alley section of Universal Studios, and they're both good. They're both somewhere on this list. This one comes in at number 4, and it's really good. If you're a true Harry Potter fan, if you're one of those people that read the books as well as see the movies, then you're familiar with this story. And it's from the Tale of Beetle the Bard's book that Dumbledore bequeaths to Hermione in the movies and in the book as well. But there's stories in that book, and you can actually buy this book at any Barnes & Noble or any bookstore that you might have in your area. If you can't find it there, go to Amazon.com. I would encourage you to do it. It's a pretty good book, and there's some short stories in there that are, well, they're worth reading. And this is one of them. It recounts one of these wizard fables that I was talking about, that you hear about in the Deathly Hallows. It's told by a group of people who dress up in Harry Potter, costuming there at the theme park, and they present this show interactive with these amazing dolls that they pull out of this big vault on the stage. And as they tell the story, there's ambient music playing, and it's really good. You can find it on the Carket Market there, the Carket Market stage there of Diagon Alley. The puppets are gorgeous, and the puppet that is Death is so ornately wonderful, creepy, and amazing at the same time. And the actors perform while maneuvering all of the puppets, and it's just done really well. It tells the classic story, and I'm not going to ruin that story for you. You can see YouTube videos of this on YouTube all over the place. They're easy to find. Just go there and type it in, and you'll be able to see the show. But I wouldn't do that if I were you, especially if you're planning a trip. I don't think you should ruin it. I think you should see it live for the first time. There's just something about that keeps it special, that keeps it unique. I avoid watching shows on YouTube for that reason. Even when I'm homesick or not able to go to the park for a while, or if I'm planning a vacation, I don't like to ruin it. I like it to still feel special, fresh, and new. That's why Tale of the Three Brothers is the number 4 show at Universal Studios Orlando.
Number 3.
Number 3, and this probably at a different time of year could also be number 1 for me. Maybe not number 1, but certainly number 2 is Ollivanders' Wand Experience. I've had the amazing privilege of having my daughter be selected for her wand 3 times. What we did is we allowed her second 2 times to be the wand selections for myself and for my wife. And we get to the point now when we go in, we tell the attendant not to pick my daughter because she's had it so many times, and we want someone else to get that experience. It is an amazing experience. Universal has spared no expense with Ollivanders. When you walk in, you look like you're in the set from the movie. It's real, it feels real, it sounds real, it smells real. This is a great experience, and little kids should not miss this. Take them in. Even if they don't get picked, they'll have a great time watching a wand select the wizard. It takes place, I don't know how often or how periodically, and there's usually a line to get in, but it's worth waiting, and it's nice and cool when you get inside. And all of the characters who portray a wand maker or a wand employee there are excellent. They have done a great job of hiring people, training people, that they know what they're supposed to say, how they're supposed to say it. They deal with impromptu situations and circumstances beautifully, and they never step out of character. This is an experience that you should experience. Even if you don't have little kids, I don't care how old you are or how young you are, go see Ollivanders Wand Experience at least once. I bet you anything you go back, because it's just that good. And that's why it's the number 3 show that I don't think you should miss when going to Universal Studios.
Number 2.
Number 2. Now, forever, this was my number 1 show. And then I started to think about it, and I started to think, well, is it really number 1? Do I really like this more than the other one? And at the end of the day, I decided no. But I never missed this show, and that's the Blues Brothers show. Oh, it's so good. These guys look like the Blues Brothers. They sound like the Blues Brothers. There's everything about this is great. The music is great. The people are great. It is interactive. They come around and they dance in the streets. They get you going in a long line. Man, it is so fun. The only thing I wish they would add to this would be a photo opportunity. But I get why they don't, because I'm a musician and I have been in live performance for the bulk of my life. And I imagine if I was in the hot Florida sun, wearing a 3-piece or a 2-piece suit and a hat and glasses, dancing and singing songs for 20 plus minutes, the last thing I want to do is stand in that hot sun and take pictures with people. You're tired and you want to go. But everything about this show is fantastic. The way they pull up in the police car that with the big siren on the top. It's just amazing, and then they leave with that. The way Elwood takes his harmonica out of his suitcase that's handcuffed to his wrist. There's really nothing like this. Even the pre-show element of the guy up there with the saxophone is worth seeing. Make time in your day to see this show. You will not regret it. It debuted in March of 1991, runs 5 times each day. They closed the show in Hollywood. I'm not really sure why. Happened around 2015. My guess is it just didn't have the same kind of appeal, or they couldn't get the same quality people that they have here. Either way, this show is not to be missed. Go see the Blues Brothers show at least once. My guess is you're going to want to see it again. It's that fun. And that's why it is the number 2 show at Universal Orlando Resort. Now, before we get to the number 1, I always count down the top 5 so far, and then I give you 2 honorable mentions. I'm going to give you the honorable mentions first. This first one is the other show at Diagon Alley, Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees. This is a good show, it's just not my cup of tea. Celestina Warbeck is a character in the Harry Potter books. She didn't really make the movies. This takes place on the same stage as the 3 brothers, from Tales of Beetle the Bard does. It's on Carket Market. And this is a show that, if you're there, you're going to want to see it. I don't know that it's a not-to-be-missed show. I don't think it's a change-your-day show or anything like that, but it's good. It is interactive. They will pull somebody out of the crowd. They do sing songs that J.K. Rowling has approved or created, and the guest performers that they pull from the audience. There's just a lot of things that go on in this show, and it's very good, but it's kind of like a lounge act with the Banshees as her dancers or accompaniment singers. Like I said, it's a good show. It's a very popular show. In fact, my guess is for most people it's more popular than The Tale of the 3 Brothers, but not for me. But that's why it makes an honorable mention and not the top 5, and that is the first honorable mention. The second honorable mention is Marilyn and the Diamond Bellas. Also a good show, takes place right there as you're turning the corner to head towards the Mummy. You really can't miss it. Marilyn pulls up in a Cadillac with her director and her dancers. The theming is great. The girl who plays Marilyn looks like Marilyn, and the Bellas are nice, and they do a couple of songs where they sing and dance and they have routine, and then it's all lip synced. It's not actually live music, unlike the Blues Brothers and Celestina Warbeck, which is live music. But this one's lip synced, And then afterward, there's a photo op for people, and it's a pretty good thing. And if you're one of those people that even remembers Marilyn Monroe, it's a nice throwback, and it's certainly a nice legacy to her memory. So check this show out too. It's also pretty good. So here it is.
Number 1.
Universal's Horror and Makeup Show. Easily the best show in Universal Studios. I think it's amazing. I don't ever miss it. In fact, if I'm going to the parks 5 days in a row, I'm going to see this show at least 5 times. It's that good. And just like you guys who are familiar with this show, I have my favorite actors. But man, every time I go, I know the routine. I know the punchlines. I know the jokes. I know what's going to happen. I know everything about it. And I still love this show. It's funny. It's engaging. That's not fair. It's not funny and engaging. It's hysterical and engaging. I crack up every time I go. That's why the show has been around forever. It's a long-lasting show. I think it debuted in 1991, a year after the show opened. And it's gone through some transformations. It used to be called the Phantom of the Opera Horror and Makeup Show, and it had a little stint as something else. But what you have now has been a long-running theme, and they keep it updated periodically as they come out with new horror movies. But it's really awesome to sit in the theater there and see the interaction with the makeup character and his co-host. It's all great, and the tension that kind of is between them is always good, and then picking someone from the audience to interact with is equally excellent. This is a show not to be missed. Let me say that again. This is a show you don't want to miss. Take time out of your day, schedule it, plan it, fit it in. The Universal Horror and Makeup Show is a game-changing show. It's the best show at Universal Studios, better than anything they have at Islands. This is a show you're going to want to see. And that's why it comes in as the number 1 show, studios side at Universal Orlando Resort. Hey, thanks for watching. Remember that sharing is caring. Please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notifications so you can be notified every time we post a new video. Hey, go bless somebody else today.